because I
Yeah, you just smashed the first 20.
bad idea.
Yeah.
It was like 96, 98.
Yeah, I heard it.
And then I was kind of like, yeah, I felt it. But I got off and I started doing the deads. I was like, okay, I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
But then when I got to the thrusters, whew, my legs, my lungs were just completely just like raw. And because I'm stupid and I don't know how to read or pay attention, I did 20 of all right down the line, and that sucked.
Still was awesome.
Still sucked.
Yeah, you did. It was awesome.
I did 20, 20, 20.
So then you did 120
Yay.
reps.
That felt so
Yeah,
good.
120. Yeah, 120 off the bat.
Oh crap.
It's just a different stimulus. Because then you also had the encouragement of knowing it's all you're all going down from there.
And that's what it was, but then it's like kind of getting into the mindset of, okay, now it's less, but don't get too comfortable.
Yeah, so you're at 120, 90, 60. Yeah. Nice.
So good. That's still the workout I did Wednesday was like that. All 50s, all 40s, 30, 20, 10.
Yeah.
Sent it to me. Everything started with row. It was cow row. I believe it was burpees and another movement.
I gotta give the guy credit though for yesterday, because we're talking about like cutting corners and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he made the mistake thinking that it was just 4 laps, but even after he found out that it was 8, he still didn't drop the 50s.
What I like about is he grabbed the 50s and he looked around and I already seen him. I was like, ooh, I smiled at him.
Yeah.
He was like,
Went
I
for
gotta
it.
do him ready. I gotta do him now. It's funny.
I seen it too.
Yeah, good though.
He wanted the challenge.
He did.
Though. Like you could see, I
Look,
think
it's
that was
good.
probably the look was like challenge accepted.
Mm-hmm.
It's went for redemption on these next games.
I've done something similar to that one yesterday, the 800 or the 400 carry and 25, but I think the atmosphere is everything. So yesterday, like running with those dumbbells, you know what I mean? Like I remember looking back, I'm like, bro, he's running, because I would do one slick with no weight, and he was running faster than me slick with the dumbbells in his hands.
Yeah.
And I think the atmosphere, because I did that one by myself before on the campus at RTC. But I think the nature of us being together yesterday, everybody was pushing, because even Cliff, who was it?
Yeah.
Were chomping too, trying to catch up, and they were pushing their pace.
They were trying hard to close the gap.
Yeah.
Everybody
They
was sending
did
it.
well, yeah.
The atmosphere.
It's a lot better because from what we started at to now, like that 8 laps, that 8 rounds.
Yeah.
Of team when we first started with you, guys be broken.
Yeah.
Like broken. Guys was pumped at the end, you know what I mean? Not broken, you know. And just
That's actually a really good observation.
yeah, the level of resilience from when we started to now is total 180.
Oh,
man.
big time.
Guys can
If we tried to do that workout
Thanks.
when we first started with you, we'd probably still be there doing the workout.
yeah.
I have a very vivid memory of the first time you guys ever came to RTC.
Yeah.
I called Scotty,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring the team." I was like, "Okay," and Scotty knew it because Scotty had been training with me, and he knew what he was bringing all of you guys to, but obviously nobody on the team knew what they were fully coming to. But I remember we did it was like a bike row, shuttle sprint buy-in on every minute, and then you had like max effort afterwards. I remember just looking around at the carnage. Guys were just dead. I have a photo still of us that first day.
You should post it.
I'll find it.
Yeah.
I'll find it today.
You know what? And it's funny because it just takes one guy like that, Scotty,
Yeah.
to know that these guys gonna get destroyed. You know, it's still just wanted better for the whole team and
Oh yeah.
it's changed.
Fuck feelings.
I kind of that because I was like, if we got him on away from his home turf, you know, and it's carnage. I can't imagine at his home turf and he got all his toys.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bad. I kind of was expecting it. I was like, oh, it's gonna be horrible.
I remember because I asked him, I was like, what are you doing? He goes, it's a little. When he
Just
does this,
survive.
he does this with his fingers. He goes, a little jog. I'm like, oh, so because every time he does that, it's like a little jog, little bit of burpees.
Yeah,
Little bit like
smile.
100.
You know, I gotta give major credit. Joel and I had this conversation on the way over. I mean, no, I don't mean this in any sort of prideful way. I'm always just observing. I always assess, right? I'm always like, every day I have to stop, observe, assess, because my life is all, I'm pushing the envelope in pretty much every area of my life,
Sure.
you know? And within this one, sometimes I don't realize how much I'm pushing it until I get some resistance. I'm like, oh, okay, this is different, you know? But I got to give credit to Scotty, obviously number one. But I got to give credit to Goose, because he was LT at the time, for saying yes to that, not knowing really what you guys are coming into, but said yes to it. But then after that, also continued to say yes to doing PT, because as we were cooling down, Scotty and I were walking together, and I was like, hey, just consider this the normal training. Like I'll drive to wherever you guys are at, and I'll bring gear. And obviously, I knew Scotty would be down because he and I were friends at that time. But it was a huge decision then for LT to say yes to. But he said yes to it, and then after that, Aaron took it on, and Aaron took it, and we did something never done before. We ran a tactical games last year. Yeah. Never happened before, you know. And the conference happened. I'm not saying nothing was happening, but I recognize there's been some guys. Scotty has spearheaded something, like you said. If a guy steps up, you know, and is willing to, but then if I look across the different departments. I got to give Maui SRT credit too, because I showed up during the fires. They had no idea who I was. I didn't even have any relationship, and they're coming out of the most traumatic thing they've ever been through. Sarge lost his house in the fire. So they're coming out of major crisis, and they said yes to training. So like I'm looking at all of these key moments, I guess I'd say, along the way that now have led to yesterday's training, and you recognizing, bruh, when we first started, guys would have been broken in half. Yeah. Guys wouldn't have been able to do the devil's press, you know, let alone carry that much with farmer carries. And then what you said, I was a little bit nervous because I was reading the group, and guys were struggling. I could see guys, it was a fight. Guys were literally looked like they were in a fight. And I didn't know what the response was going to be at the end. So I was a little like, oh, we'll see. You know, we'll see how guys react or respond. And then we finished, and I think I saw what you just said. There's pride, like good pride. Oh, yeah. Like, oh, we just did that. That was 8 rounds. We all just went 2 miles. And each did 100 devil's press with weight. Like that was a significant difference in how people performed, right?
I think too, especially because we've gotten a lot of attention since we started working with you and with the first responder invitational and the respective corners we've done, and so people are watching. Yeah. And so you get that sense of pride as like, you know, not just pride for the team in the department, but in ourselves. Like we don't want people are going to recognize us. They're like, no, if something goes down, they can count on us. Yep. I mean, because it's not just show up, smash a workout like that, and then call it a day. We went straight to the range. You guys were working shield work, which involves a lot of precision, communication. Yeah. Me and the snipers, we're doing our thing. You know, we have to rely on precision, and so it's okay. Workout's done. Now it's time to lock in.
And could get a call.
And we because it's happened. Yep. We would be at a call out. We'd be there for 12 hours. We'd wrap because it happened just, I think it was earlier this year. We're wrapping that one up, and as we're wrapping it up, we get another one in Volcano. So, and a lot of like what he's talking about, like guys that have been broken, having to work 36 hours on 2 critical incidents, and we were short-staffed for both of them. So we're lucky to have FBI and the sheriffs help us out with that one. But just having to stay locked in mentally, knowing that your body can handle it because your mind won't allow you to break. Yeah. And so it's just working with you folks. And then that's like a big bonding thing for us, because our sergeant, our sniper team leader, he had asked us, hey, you know, we have an option. We can go to the range and get more trigger time, or we can go PT. And everyone's like, we want to go PT. Because we want to PT with the guys. You know, some of us we've missed because of primary duties and whatnot. Yeah. So we want to get back with the guys. We know what's waiting for us with the workout as far as like it being hard. We don't know exactly what the workout's going to be, but whatever it is, I'd rather do it with the guys. 100%. And then go smash the range, and then be able to be on top of both games, PT and marksmanship. So.
And being able to hit your marksmanship.
Absolutely.
And training when you're under fatigue.
That's
real life, right?
Shield work yesterday, just from holding the farmer carries on the laps, carrying the dumbbells, man, and then you gotta hold the shield. You know, it's 25 pounds, 30 pounds, holding it, and you gotta shoot. You know what I mean? You're already fatigued from doing all that workout. You know, it starts.
Yeah, you're holding it here.
Yeah, you're holding it here like a curl. Yeah. You know, and then you gotta get your arm out. You know, and then your arm is, you got that fatigue from all the PT. Your hand's shaking a little bit, but still trying to, make sure your shots are on,
And you're already tired, you're sweating, you're depleted of energy, calories are ripped, you're trying to hydrate, you're up at a higher elevation, and then you do that, you train at a high level, and you smash it with the guys, everybody walks out top shape. Now you remove the PT element, and you take a bunch of guys that are rested, and you send them on a call out. with how much more are they going to be able to endure knowing that they have that excess battery? It's like, we're ready. It's go time. It's like, lock it in. Let's
This
roll.
is the common narrative between groups. This was in the last interview that we just did with the fire guys out in Hanapepe.
Right.
And Cap was the one, or maybe it was Kahai that said it. Actually, I think they all touched on it, but their confidence as a team has skyrocketed from training together. And there is something to be said about training in an environment that no one's life is on the line, and knowing you can fail and push your boundaries or see what you're capable of, then stepping into the real life where there is someone's life on the line, and me looking at you and saying, I know where your boundaries are, you know where mine are, let's go. We have confidence that we can go through this door and take care of this situation, whatever it might be. And it's like I said, it's this common narrative that's coming out of groups. Because I'm a huge advocate. As much as I'm encouraging guys, and I'm about to send programming out for individuals to work out, because everybody should be working on their own PT. It's important for us to do it together, like you were just hitting on. Like, you could have just went to the range, but you know what? Hey, we're gonna go smash with the guys, so that we collectively as a group know we can look across the way and see and know where everybody's at.
Yeah.
As opposed to not having that and showing up to a call out. And I've never done PT with you. I've never seen you suffer. I've never seen you at your breaking point. I'm a little bit nervous because I don't know when you're gonna peel out. I don't know where where you might say that's too much.
Right.
I think the benefit of doing training or PT together is whoever that team is, your guys' confidence in your ability in each other skyrockets.
Because I saw the two interviews, the fire captains, and what they say is absolutely true about stress. In a way, suffering together, because you build that team bond, that brotherhood that we always talk about. And then so when you can build it, you can forge it in a controlled environment like a workout. When you get to a stressful situation like that, especially like for us in college, it doesn't matter where it is. It can be Ocean View, Kona, Kalapana, down Hilo. It doesn't matter. We're all pulling all our guys from all over the place because we know what our capabilities are. We're just locked in and ready to go.
Locked in.
It makes it a lot better too, because then you can plug and play guys.
Yeah.
Right. If everybody is trained to that threshold, it's not just you got these 5, that can handle this. You got 30, 35 guys. Yeah, you can just plug and play them. Hey, you know what? Hey, so and so is down. Hey, you know what? Take this guy. He's just as good. We don't gotta worry about can he handle. Hey, you're up. Next man up.
That's a great point.
Yeah, this guy might be hurt, might be down. It's not like you gotta pick up the weight. It's already, you can carry it.
Yeah.
You've trained for it, so it's not like we gotta be selective. There still is guys who are better shields, better breachers, better shots. Yeah, and we do have those specific stuff. But for the basic part, tactics and stuff like that, carrying loads, everybody on the team pretty much can carry that load. You know what I mean? And it's a big relief, I would assume, on just even the rank, the LT, the sergeant, when they come to making an ops plan. You got 30 guys, you don't have to be like, oh man, I can't put him there because he's not, proficient in this. Everybody's proficient.
It's the best of the best.
Yeah, you don't have to be selective. Hey, I can plug and play anybody, and they can do it. I mean, I can't fly the drone. I can tell you that right now. So can't put me there. Now we'll breach a door or run, a couple miles. It is what it is, but.
Just don't put me on the drone.
Yeah. Anybody else need another one?
I think I'm good.
Yeah. Joel?
I'm good.
You good?
Thanks.
Yeah, I know it's funny because not funny, but it's on point. Because we'll sit during briefings, or we'll get a call up and we'll sit at the command post and we'll all look at each other, and you can look at everyone's face and you know that he's ready. You can put him anywhere. And guys, like, you need to tell, hey, I need you to go here, even if it's not the most glamorous position. They're like, cool, I'll take it, and then they're gonna do it to the best of their ability. There's no pride issues. There's no egos. It's like, where do you need me? Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do it. Like, I can look at him, guys, and all these guys, and then we hang out quite a bit, but the guys that we don't hang out with, like I see all the time. The beast, he's a monster. You got the guys. Chris, one of our newer guys. He's really quiet, but that guy's game. I mean, he's just, you look at his face and he's just dialed in. You got a lot of these newer guys that came on the team, but they don't feel like newer guys because they're pushing at the same level, same effort, and I love it.
But it's just that standard that was set. You know what I mean? And I think it's just trickled down. It's become just a culture of the team. Like, you're either on hammer or you're a nail. You only be a nail amongst hammers. So, I mean, you just either gonna pick up the, you're gonna pick
That's why
up
we say
the-
Hamas only.
Yeah.
Hamas only. Guys think it's a joke. It's like, no, we're coming to smash. It's like,
You should have that switch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can joke around, have a good time and train, but when it's time to, business or time calls, look at some of the call outs we go on. Manhunt, 60 hours, 72 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's drained, tired. We're crammed in the Bearcat. We're going here. We're on two sides of the islands. Guys forgetting to eat, hydrate just because we're so locked in on trying to find a guy, and try and end this call out or whatever, this manhunt. But it's like, you train this hard all the time. It's like, you don't even think about it. You got to remind yourself, oh, I'm hungry. I got to go eat something. Oh, I'm a little dehydrated. I got to go drink something. Like, we're all focused on the mission, and then but it makes it that much easier to be that way and just be ready.
And guys are ready because the guys don't like sitting around. The guys want to work.
Yeah.
And so we're like, just point us in a direction, and we'll do it. And it's like, we don't. It doesn't need to be something crazy. It's like, what do you need us to do?
Yeah.
We'll find work. He was looking for work. I mean, he's like, hey, we got to do something. And so he pitched something to the lieutenant, and the lieutenant's like, hey, cool. They give it a green light, ran it by the rank, and we went out. We were being proactive, and it wasn't anything crazy. It's just usually what patrol officers do, making contact. So
I think we get in the mindset that where there's greens,
Yeah.
we're SRT, we're on the SWAT team. But we forget that our main role is we're police officers first. We don't have to be designated to this one. Because for the most part, the reason why we are SRT SWAT, you pulling guys that are really good at their primary jobs, really good police officers, investigators. Look at the guys, Unreal Vice guys, guys are already really good at their primary duties. And then you put them in this position, we forget that, geez, we know how to investigate stuff just as good. Like, send us out to go. So we dress down on some of them and just go out and just go, around and talk to people. Just gather intel. We know where the crack is, where the drug houses are and everything. What's the simple thing of going up there and just talking to people? We don't want to arrest nobody.
Change.
Yes.
You got your greens, you got your blues on. The mindset's still the same.
Yes.
you're still an officer. And it's, I think for a while there's been a little bit of a separation of what SRT is and what we do compared to some of the other units in the department. And I know I'm sure he feels the same way. It's like, we don't want people to feel like, especially in our department, like we think we're some frat fraternity. It's like, no, we want to help you guys. It's like, we know what you guys do. You guys, I mean, they hit homes regularly, jam cars on a regular basis. Yeah. They're doing a lot more high risk things, with less equipment and less.
Half the training.
Yeah, half the training.
Maybe a quarter of the training that we do.
So that's why we're like, hey,
I just was on a Vice hit with the guys in Kona because they invited me to go with them. And I was thinking, these guys this is pretty high, like this is high risk. Like this isn't just a walk. Like I actually asked, I was like, hey, how much training are you guys doing? Because I'm with you guys, I see the training you do. And that was my question. I was like, how much training are you guys doing as a unit? Because that was kind of mental. That wasn't just a walk in the park. That was
And that is the overall goal of the lieutenant now and our rank. We're trying to take that burden.
Yeah.
We would hope to take it, but
Right.
we're part-time. If we had a full-time team,
teams would take that.
or even 8, 4 guys, 8 guys, it make a big difference on having somebody that operates a shield all the time, the breach pack all the time. You learn tricks of the trade, right?
Of course.
I'm gonna shoot better than the guy that doesn't operate the shoot with the shield. Breach how many doors near you? That guy operates the KVT, the RAM. He knows the weak points, which way the doors open. It's just that little experience that we do train a lot more that would help. And we're geared to the teeth with safety. These guys are going with, some of them have tack vests, but a lot of them, they got a regular vest on. Dude, like,
mental.
yeah, a rifle round's gonna chew right through that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, we do end up training a lot more, and I hope in the future that they implement us a little bit more on these high risk search warrants and stuff like that.
We hit on this a little bit a minute ago, but nowadays, one of the envelopes that I'm definitely pushing, which I get pushback on too, but is media. Whereas before, absolutely nothing, no media out there around police in general, but especially anybody in the tactical unit. It's pretty buttoned up, as it should be. I think my heart and my intention is to showcase you guys for multiple reasons. I'm very passionate about the next generation being motivated to becoming a police officer or a firefighter or a lifeguard or whatever it might be. And it's an interesting thing that happened as we were talking about the original days. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I had a group of guys, and Joel was one of them too. But out of that original group, there's Micah. He is now in the Army as a medic, an Army medic going for Special Forces.
Nice.
There was Drew, who is now a police officer in HPD here. There's Joel, who has a huge heart to be in this first responder world and is now helping with all of this stuff regarding media. Ben Tanner, who I believe is a firefighter now. You know, guys got around it, and the response was, "This is what I want to do." Right. Within a very short amount of time. So I guess my mind then goes, if that's what can happen in a couple of months, imagine what would happen if people had access to being around it. And maybe I can't be there in person, but if I watch it here, I'm still getting an experience essentially, right? Or I'm getting some sort of touch point with that world. And so my heart behind it is, how do we get multiple reasons? I personally think the community should see it and be like, I don't want to get arrested by that guy. I don't want coming through my front door. You know what I mean? I don't want you showing up for something, right?
Touch up on that too, though. Like, to have that type of, like, I guess, aura, but still show the compassionate side. You can be both, and you can be both at a high level. And
that's a great point.
You know, and to me, I mean, the physical aspect is definitely something that you should have pride in. There's a guy, he's a sergeant now in Pune. He used to be in the training section with us, right? Yeah. And so he's a stud. Dude is an absolute stud. But his whole thing was if he could de-escalate and avoid going physical, that was a win, because he knew that if he had to go get physical, someone's gonna potentially get hurt, and that's not what anybody wants. Right. And so, but he could handle business if he needed to. The guy's amazing. Yeah. But his calm demeanor, his presence, all that stuff, just being around him, I took a lot from him. But I'd still keep the physicality. It's like, okay, I want to be this guy that's compassionate, cool, calm, collected, be able to de-escalate. But if I gotta flip that switch, I'm definitely gonna be that guy that you won't want knocking on your door because you did some dumb shit. There's
also something when you're around someone like Ryan, and you can tell that they have power under control. It's scary. You're around someone and you're like, I have a feeling this guy could mess me up, but he's so composed. It kind of scares you a little bit, right? You shake their hand or you're around them and you're like, oh, yeah, I don't want to push any boundaries here, right? And that's really, by definition, that would be meekness, actually. Like, you have the ability to maybe handle a situation, but you don't need to flex it. Sure. You don't need to showboat it. You don't need to take it there. Actually, the main desire is that no one would get injured in this process. Exactly. And that's the utmost, right? If it goes that way, we'll take that step when we need to. But that's a scary individual, right?
Like you know, we watch these guys, and like Jordan Peterson, I love the guy. You know, he's like, hey, you know, you don't have to be violent, but you should be capable of violence. You know, and you hang around with the team all the time. They're the nicest dudes.
The best.
Everybody loves each other. Yeah. We all can have crack jokes and have a good time. And that's what I would hope people would understand, is that we're not machines. You know, we're human beings. We love having a good time, you know. It's just our profession requires us to have that switch, like Wayne said, to switch it on and off, you know. And then you got multiple switches. We got families, you know. Yeah. We got kids, wives, you know. You got to be this monster at times. And then you come home and then I'm dad. You know, I'm you know, Han, I'm Dave, you know, to my wife. I gotta be softer, I gotta be juggling all these things, you know, but it's good. It grounds you when you come home, you know. Yeah. Your son comes, you know, you just had the worst day, you know, you had to, you know, probably shoot somebody, you had to do the worst of the worst, they call it sometimes, or to see. And then your son, you come home and your son's coming, just jump on you, you know, you still haven't decompressed, but you come through the door and boom, Dad. What's up, man? You know, they don't know what you went through. They're all jumping on you, and, you know, you can't help but be happy, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And I was watching a show the other day. The guy would say you got to find your chair, you know. Where can you sit and be peaceful? And I just thought of my wife and my kids, you know. Come home, and that's my chair. I come home, decompress, and, you know, some people think you got to be alone or whatever like that, and I get that. Sometimes we do. But, you know, your kids loving on you, your wife coming to tell you hi, you know. We take for granted these little things that we're afforded. And you're like, don't talk to me right now, I gotta decompress. Why not make that your decompression? You know, what's better than your daughter, you know,
Right.
spending time with your daughter, you know. And I gotta tell you, when I see pictures, man, you know, every smile at me, you know, especially with his daughter, he's a proud daddy, you know, and it's like, you know, that kind of things people should look forward to a lot more. I think we just get away from it, that like, oh, I gotta decompress. You gotta find things and make them your decompression.
You know,
Especially that.
Yeah, and that's the thing is
Gold.
like one of our things at the training section, because we talk about people that want to be police officers.
Yeah.
And so every Friday before we cut the recruits for the weekend, we always ask them what's their homework. And their homework is spend time with their family and tell them they love them.
Yeah.
Because it's like at the end of the day, that's your foundation.
Well,
Because it's not, I mean, we talk about tactics, we talk about kicking in doors, we talk about violent suspects and all this kind of stuff. For me, I mean, with the amount of things that I've gone through in my career, surprisingly to some people, that's actually not even the worst that I've gone through. The worst was a 4-year-old girl getting run over by a car. And I was the first on scene. She ended up dying. But, you know, having to watch that happen, and like, you develop a switch as a police officer, you know, and you got to kind of actively develop it. That was the first time in my entire career, the only time really in my career, where that switch kept going off and on, and I had like a really hard time keeping it off. And it's like I had to power through it to finish the call, because I mean, you look at the girl and you think other people have family members too. I have I've got a kid, I have a daughter.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you try to separate yourself, but like how he was saying, you're not a robot. And so you got to find a way to decompress that in a healthy way. Fitness is huge. Fitness is a huge one. Having a good brotherhood is a good one, because you have people that understand.
Yeah.
And you know, it's more than just kicking down doors, chasing bad guys. And so when we talk about preparing for the worst day, that for me in 18 years has been by far the worst day of my career. So
It's kind of crazy that Wayne says that, because we've both been through some shootings and a bunch of stuff that, you know, you would probably put that in your mind as that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
You know, you just got shot at, or you just had to shoot somebody. You know, for me is I had one saying: the girl was young, she drowned in a pool, and you go through a whole bunch of emotions. You're hurt because it's a little girl, then you're upset. Where was people watching?
Yeah.
You know, and you go through this,
it's exactly
you know,
the same thing.
trying to navigate it, like how does it happen? You know what I mean? Like when nobody's watching her, and then like, you know, you see the paramedics and they got a hard job. The firefighters, they're trying to resuscitate her, and they got to actually put hands on her and work on her. And watching a paramedic or a firefighter try to do CPR on a child, it sucks.
Most likely knowing she's not going to.
Yes,
and that,
you know,
actually,
yeah, it sucks, man.
Exact same thing.
You know, it's the worst.
4-year-old girl trying to do CPR. You know, in your mind, like for me, it's like she has like a 0.0001% chance of surviving, but you work for that 0.001% chance, maybe some kind of miracle, and then you're doing chest compressions. You're trying to do whatever you can, and you just don't quit. Medics show up, and they see what's going on, and you know, you see these guys that like all kinds of different kind of calls. I mean, big and small, and this when it involves children, you know that they're being impacted as well. And you see the look on their face. They're going through the exact same struggle that you're going through. They probably do it on a more of a regular basis. And I remember that day is the same thing that you was talking about. You know, you're going through a wide range of thoughts. Where were the parents? Why wasn't anybody watching? How did this happen? What, you know, you start what-ifing everything, and then you're like, I still got to do this investigation.
Wow.
And then we were going up to the hospital, and it was me and my partner. We were going up, and we hear units trying to come up because they want to help. And I got on the radio and I said, Senator, disregard everybody else, because it's not that I didn't want their help. I appreciate what they were doing. I did not want them to be exposed to that because of how I was feeling. There's no sense in putting someone else through it. I mean, it's already heavy.
Yeah.
So, and it's not just us and the medics and the fire guys. Now we're taking them up to the hospital, and we have a lot of people that have a lot of friends at the hospital. People have family members that work in the hospital, and you know that they're about to be exposed to the exact same trauma. So that whole first responder community, like with the event that you organize, it's not police versus fire versus this. It's like when a traumatic event happens, everybody just locks in together. And when one person wins, we all win. But when another person suffers, we're all suffering, and we just kind of just lean on each other with that.
It's like Wayne when he says too, and you got that 0.001% chance that she's gonna make it.
Right.
You still gotta notify the parents.
Yeah.
They held on to that 0.0 whatever percentage. You know, nobody's gonna hold on to that percentage that they're gonna make it, like a parent.
Yeah.
So they're going up to the hospital expecting totally that she's gonna make it or he's gonna make it. You know, they're gonna make it. They're gonna be okay. And then now we went through this whole roller coaster, and now I gotta give a death notification. I gotta break it to this mom, this dad, siblings. You know, that their sibling or family member didn't make it. You know what I mean? You just crush that 1% of hope that they had, and you go through it all over again because now you see just the pain on their side. It's like, man, it's devastating. And then you're expected to, after that call, to go right back to work. You know, and you still got, you know, sometimes it happens. Change the shift. It happens all the time. Second to first to second.
Yeah.
You know, mother falls asleep on the kid suffocates. So you go to that death investigation. Then you come back. You still got 6 hours of shift. You know, stolen cars, burglaries, domestics. You know, and you're going rev all day for 8 hours. Then you got another 4 hours of paperwork to do.
The side of being a first responder that most people don't see.
Yeah, I mean it's and then I get it. People get why you know, officers could be a little chippy, and we could be a lot more kinder sometimes. I agree. But it's hard. But it's hard when you every day you see that. You know, it changes you.
Let's put like those like maybe two conversations into one then, because I love what you said about decompression. And it's in a way staying healthy. And you said your chair is coming home, right, and seeing your kid, seeing your wife, seeing your family. But then you also have the other side of it of you're expected to go through one of the worst things you've ever seen and then be right back on, right? You can't turn off. And I would say from my perspective, I'm around a lot of first responders, and you guys are some of the healthier first responders, I'd say. In that your ability not just to have this conversation, but to still have compassion. Because you go through that iteration enough times, then what inevitably will end up happening is you have so much trauma, you shut down. And you don't try. That you don't see it as a 0.001% chance. You're like, it's done, right? So how do you know what I mean? What's the balance of then having enough of decompression, whether that's your family, whether that's doing a workout with someone, so that you know, as you get further along in your career, you can stay healthy enough that you're going to show up to that call with hope that someone might make it, you know, as opposed to being on the other side, you've become maybe so, rightfully so, jaded, you know, or rightfully so, like, this isn't going to happen. Because you go through something enough in life, and then your experience will have told you otherwise. And I would say, not being a first responder, just being a civilian, have gone through traumatic experiences, that's one of the hardest battles, is having any sort of hope that something can change, there's gonna be a different outcome, whatever it might be. But that's part of your guys' job, is actually to do that, right? So I think, I guess I'm looking at it like, if that's what's required of you, how important then it is for you to come home and find the chair. You know what I mean? Find the decompression, if that's what's required of your job, right?
When I was looking at that analogy, like I used finding your chair, I mean, we're literal people. I look at a chair, you got 4 legs, right? So, like you said, have a good brotherhood, your family. You know what I mean? Fitness is one of them, you know? That's one way we decompress. And that's why I built this, you know what I mean? I come home, and I'm not gonna lie, some days is the roughest day, you know, and I can come in there and lose my and not bother anybody, slam weights, be frustrated. Probably not even get a good workout in. I'm just in here because I'm upset, or I don't want to bring it in the house. I'll come back here, just rip, you know, go on the bike, shred myself, you know, kind of just make it to where I'm tired, and just like now I can think, and just rip through, you know, get a good sweat in, and then my mental clarity comes back, and it's like, you know, bring it back in. You got to reel it in, and you know, fitness has been and we were always fit. I feel, but this was just having you come train the teams it's a lot different than what I used to do.
And I think it's a lot of self accountability, honestly. I think it's a lot of like, you do a job like a first responder in any capacity, whether it's a firefighter, police officer, whatever. You know, you're already held to a standard. You know, and you should want to exceed that standard because I mean, I kind of hate to sound like a broken record, but you know, I kind of live by it. It's like the community expects a product, and it's our job to deliver it. That's why, you know, you always hear people say, like, well, we pay your salary, we're taxpayers. They're correct. And, you know, so we need to be at our best. And, you know, I think a lot of people tend to forget what it's like in every first responder profession to sign up for the job, have to take the written test, that anxiety of waiting to find out if you passed or not, then being how happy you were when you found out you did pass, then you're waiting for the agility test, then the anticipation and the anxiety of doing the agility test, and every step of the way. And then once we get in, we're kind of like, okay, I made it. It's like, no, you can't do that. You can't have that kind of mindset. You can't have that kind of mentality. The moment we start doing that, then we start becoming more entitled. Like, well, I'm owed this. You're not really owed anything, really. You have to earn it. Because if we're gonna preach that to people, like, you know, you should earn everything in life. You know, putting in the hard work, then you got to lead by example. You know, my recruits probably gonna, you know, they're probably gonna hate me, but it's like, you know, I'll send them workouts that I do. It's like, and you know, it's Saturday. I could easily be home doing nothing. Yeah. You know, but once he said, hey, Tiger's coming over, you want to come down? Yeah, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It's hot as hell. You know, but self-accountability. I, as an instructor, can't see myself being somebody who would be out of shape, having no patience, trying to critique somebody if I'm not able to do push-ups and expect them to do it. I'd look at that instructor and be like, I'm not going to do it. But you can't even do it yourself. So when the public looks at us, yeah, exactly. And when the public looks at us, you know, we need to set that standard, set that example. You know, we're not perfect by any means. We're humans just like anybody else. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to make bad decisions. I think what a lot of people run away from is self-accountability. Yeah. And without that, that's where we run into a lot of issues.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I think the difference of, I think a couple things around training, because like you said, you guys weren't out of shape. I mean, there's definitely there was a level of training that we've definitely ramped up to where like we could do PT that we did yesterday and guys are handling it instead of being broken afterwards. But I think accountability is one of them, especially as guys start to get fit. Yeah. Someone sets a standard and that automatically creates accountability, right? And as you see that, then what goes through your mind is, I don't want to be the weakest link. I don't want to be the liability, right? I don't want to be the one on the stack. I don't want to be the one in the truck. I don't want to be the one on the beach that can't swim, you know, whatever it might be. I don't want to be a liability, so therefore there's some form of accountability in it. But I think another thing too that I recognize is there's a lot of intentionality behind it. Because you guys know, as much as we're going to do a workout, you also know we're going to do this. We almost talk every single time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the intentionality is, the goal behind it is fitness. I'd say it's probably more brotherhood though.
Camaraderie.
It's camaraderie. Yeah. And that is also a shift. Yeah. Because as much as I feel similarly, my reasons are different than yours, but I'll go up, I jump on the bike because I'm like, I don't know what I actually feel right now. I just got to do something. Yeah. And I'm angry. I don't know what it is, but I just got to do something, you know? Like I'll have those days. But what I actually why I look forward to Fridays with you guys, why I look forward to going to these different fire stations, is just my brothers. Yeah. And they're not paying me to be there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm not making money doing it. I want to be there.
Just like today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that element of training together, when you look at it in what do we enjoy doing together? We enjoy suffering together. Yeah. That then, what happens is my life's falling apart. I'm going to call my brother. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know which way is up right now. I'm going to call my brother. That's like the side of doing this that maybe not everybody gets to see if they're just watching the videos on Instagram. Like, those guys do workouts together. Oh, okay. But they don't necessarily get to see this. Right. And for me, that's why I've even pushed the media side of it and doing more interviews, because I feel privileged that I get to see it. Right? That's the biggest culture shift I think I've seen across different teams around the state, is that their brothers, their friendship, their camaraderie is the thing that is a culture shift. More than their PT numbers are going up, you know, whether it's they're doing the NTOA test or they're doing a fire test or a 1,000 test for lifeguards or whatever. Actually what has gone up is they enjoy being together. Yeah. Friendship, brotherhood, camaraderie. And so with that, you know, we hit on this earlier in this conversation, but what I see happening is legacy, right? Because you guys aren't going to be on this team forever. But what is happening is we've started a legacy of what it means to wear those greens, right? What it means to wear the patch, what it means to be on the team. And that is long-term thinking as opposed to just short-term thinking, right? And what I feel like, I'm not going to be able to PT like this forever. I'm going to reach a point that I might have to scale down to the 20s instead of using the 50s today, right? I'm going to have to pull back. while I'm in this, I'm gonna push this as long as I possibly can. But my goal and my intention is I'm always thinking, how are we building a legacy for those who are gonna follow after? And that's what you guys are doing right now for the team. A legacy has started.
You know what's crazy is like there was a huge shift in our team because we had a lot of our OGs or like our older our long-term operators. He eventually left, and so when they all left, and I remember we're sitting there one day and we're looking, and was our about to be our lieutenant. He was acting lieutenant at the time, and we had our sergeant. I remember one day we're sitting in our office. And I'm like, these are all really young guys. We're gonna have to up our game because we would look for guidance from our senior operators, and they're all left. But at the same time, it's like I kind of, when I leave the team, and I'm not trying to sound egotistical, but I want people to feel that same exact way about me. Like, damn, he's gone. And so I want them to elevate their game. Yeah, because you talk about legacy. It's like I'm not looking to have my name on a plaque or anything, but it's like I want to kind of set a standard, but I don't want people to hit that. I want them to become better than that. Because when they leave, they got people coming up behind them. They're going to see their standard, and they're going to continue to elevate their game. It shouldn't start to slide just because the more senior, more experienced operators leave. You should find out where that is, match it, and even if you don't hit it, that effort to get there is gonna create something awesome.
And I think the reverse goes for it too. It's like, you know, it was awesome when you're in a stack and your TO is Scotty, your TO is your TO is, you know what I mean? And you got that because you know they're gonna 99% of the time make the right decision for us to make it out of this situation alive, at least, or unharmed, you know. And then you start thinking as the guy that's coming up that, hey, when they do eventually leave or whatever, I want my team to feel that same way about me, to have that confidence in me that I'm gonna get you through this, trust me. You know, it's a trust thing, you know, because someone will tell you to breach a door and you know there's a guy on the other side with a gun, you know, and then you got us guys on shields or whatever, we gotta go first. You know, you want to make sure that guy's made every decision possible. Now, hey, this is it, we're going in. You know, you might take a round, you know what I mean? And for some reason, you always get shot where you don't have armor. You're laid, you know what I mean? You know, you get hit somewhere where you don't expect to. Totally. And it's like having the confidence in those TOs to make those decisions. You know, it makes you more confident on the shield. Like me, I'm like, hey, I trust this guy with my life. I'm gonna go. You know, you're not gonna hesitate. You know, you're just gonna do your job.
And to add on to that, it's not just trusting in the TL with this decision that they're gonna make. Trusting the guy behind you, exactly. Yeah. That if I do go down, whoever's behind me is gonna handle business. Yeah. And not having to worry about that, because having that kind of trust in the staff in a situation like that is so important. And that's something that a lot of people don't really understand because they've never experienced it. Because you can experience both sides, and I think everybody should. And I think if you work in some kind of tactical environment, you're going to. Yeah. You're gonna have to work through the trust issues, and the only way you're gonna do that is by pushing your limits and finding out where everybody belongs. So, and having confidence in making a decision, you make a decision to the best of your ability, being confident in it and trusting your guys, and that's huge. So. Exactly agree with exactly what you just said. Yeah. And it will be, you know, it sucked losing certain leadership and then having to trust others in those roles, you know. So it's been growing pains for sure on some stuff, but having a good brotherhood to at least talk to. We got a group chat. Yeah. You know, 6 of us.
Yeah. So I mean,
just the dumbest shit each other. It's so funny.
Random, totally random. And the randomest things, I could tell him that guy was out of nowhere. He's the one on patrol, so out of all of us, it's just Lenz, I think, on patrol at that one. So he's up at all times. So like we'll get one at like 12 in the morning, 3 in the morning, just something radical because he's like wired on it. Yeah, it's like rain or something. He's drinking an energy drink and he's like, just a thought, and then he goes into like a tangent, and it's like we're sleeping. It's 3:30, you know. But everybody, sure enough, people are, you end up seeing likes and whatever's on it. It's like, damn, everybody's up now.
Everybody's awake, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Then it's like 3:30 and it's like, I might as well just get up and work out. Yeah. And then your day starts at 3:30 now.
If we took the same kind of thing, right? Originally, when we were just standing here before we did the workout, we were saying, mindset bleeds across all categories of life. How I do anything is most times how I do everything, right? That's a generalization,
Sure.
but I notice my mindset on how I clean, how I am punctual, or whatever, it bleeds over. So with the thought of building legacy, right? What's something, and you guys can both answer on this, but what's something that you're doing in your life to build legacy, like your boys in here working out, right? So what's something you're doing now to build that side of legacy around family, so that your son, you're getting all of this, you're recognizing that's your decompression for you to come home, you're learning as a dad, as a man. How are you investing that into the next generation of your family so that you're building legacy in your son? Similarly, you're going to hand that off to him at some point too. He's going to become a man, right?
So well, no, but I mean, going back to your question about legacy with just my boy, I come to the point where I understand, like, and they're both different, my two boys. So my 7-year-old, I can't treat him like my 3-year-old.
Yeah. And
I can't vice versa. My 3-year-old is a little bit more aggressive, and I think I'll be harder on him when he gets 7.
Yeah.
Just because he's just built different. My other one is he's very smart and more emotional. But his mind shift, I can see it's changing just by working out. He's with me almost every day now with my schedule. He can work out with me.
Doing some sort of training in here.
Yes. So I'm looking at it more as he grows, I can add. Like, I can't treat him as you got to have that switch. Like, it's on. Like, yeah, he's still, mama's boy. Like, he's still like that. So, like, recently, just talking with him, I told him with soccer, I told him, hey, all I want from you is effort and attitude.
Yeah.
Good effort, good attitude. I could care less if we lose by 100 points, bro.
Yeah.
If you did not give any effort, or you did not give, or you gave shit attitude, I'm gonna be upset. Either way, But if you play hard out and we still lose, but you had a good attitude the whole time, Dad's gonna be happy regardless, dude. I'll be proud of you.
Yeah.
But you start making these decisions to, you're gonna lack because you're losing, or you're gonna talk down to somebody, or things like that. Those things to me speak volumes. I don't care if we win or lose.
Yeah.
I care about what are you doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his first couple seasons, he just ran around like a lunatic, and it was all effort. And I was like, hey, dude, we lost. He's bummed out that he lost, but I'm like, dude, Dad's proud of you. Your effort today was, we lost the game.
Effort was there.
But you didn't quit.
Yeah.
And then some days, his attitude sucks. And I'm over there steaming on the sidelines. You know what I mean? Like, dude, this guy better pick it up. And he's hanging his head. And it's like, dude, I talked to him afterwards. I was like, you did good. You scored. But half the time, what you was doing? Grumbling. You have terrible attitude, bro. It reflects on me. I don't like that. It makes me upset. And he's you really want to, and I believe all kids are like that. They want to make you proud.
Of course.
Naturally. Yeah. Right? So, especially boys.
Yeah.
To their dads.
Son,
so like,
absolutely.
He's getting to the point where I don't even have to be like that with him anymore. He'll look at me and he'll know already, like, by my expression, like, I better pick it up. Like, I'll just give him a look, like, hey, dude, you're slacking. And I know you better than that. And it's giving me a better gauge working out with him of what he can handle. Yeah. Yeah, because he surprises me in the gym. Yeah. He started with the 5s farmer carries, like 6 months ago. I'm pretty sure he can do the 30s now across the yard, with the weight vest, burpees, But yeah, and he's last night, funniest thing ever. My wife could not open this wine. It was a turn, twist up. So she's like, she looks at me, you think Logan can open it? I go, try, let's go. This kid gripped that thing and I heard it crack. And he opened it and he goes, here you go, Mom. He walks away. I look at her. I was like, oh, you're weak. I look at her. She's like all bummed out and he's over there like smiling too because he's all pumped up that he could do it. His mom couldn't do it. But I mean, and just when it comes to legacy, man, I would hope, and I'm proud to be a police officer. I love what I do. I love my job. I love the guys I work with. That was my calling, I believe, to be in this role. And if he goes this way, hey, it is what it is, and I love him for it. But I always tell him, I hope you choose what you want to do. Don't do it because of that, And I feel like he might do it because it's what I've done. It's what I've, bred or brought home and whatever. I told him, man, you do whatever you want to do. I'll support you 110%. Yeah. As long as you're being successful in something. And if he decides to be a cop, hey, right on. Firefighter, right on. Any first responder, hey, good. but I could care less. I think he's into heavy machinery, to be honest. You know, so I told him, hey man, Dad'll come out and get you an excavator. You can play dirt or whatever, you know. So I just hope they just become productive members of society and they're looked at the same way, you know, that people are proud to have them, you know, in their lives,
Yeah.
you know, and just good people. That's all I can ask from them. As long as they're being good people to people, I'm proud of him.
Yeah.
He's 7, man, and I go to some stuff and like with Lenz and Bob, you know, we see
Yeah.
our boys, and I thought, man, I'm just proud that
Yeah.
he's just a good person. For the most part, he's respectable and he's a good kid. I can't complain.
Yeah.
He's he's gonna be a good man, you know. And I think we talk, you know, our story's kind of the same.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't come from, you know, that legacy, right? My
We
dad
definitely don't come from money.
Yeah.
We weren't born with silver spoons in our mouth, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we actually, like, our core that we talk to,
All the same.
very similar.
Yeah.
And it's like we talk about how we bond during the hard workouts and stuff like that. It was pretty interesting to find out that when we really started to hang out and getting to know one another, how crazy similar our upbringings were. Maybe not exactly the same way, but a lot of similarities.
A lot of overlap.
Yeah, and then we're like looking at each other, it's like, huh, makes sense. And then now, you know, we find ourselves in positions where we're raising kids, and you know, you talk about legacy. Like, I watch my daughter. She's 17. She's about to be 18 in May, and I watch her compete at a high level, states, worlds, you know, international paddling and whatnot. But I think probably the most proud I've been of her has been recently when she decided to step away from long distance paddling to focus on college education. And that to me is a level of maturity that I was hoping to see. And when she made that decision, I was like, that I'm proud of you for that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we talk about athletics, we talk about, you know, teamwork and stuff like that, but then we talk about self accountability, and that's a huge one, you know.
Absolutely.
Because she has such a strong passion for it, and she loves her teammates, and she loves her coach, and she loves what she does. She loves what it does for her. But she also realizes that, hey, you know, thinking longevity, I can always come back to paddling, which she doesn't tend to do, but having to step away for the moment. And I see her and how hard she works, not just in school, but in practice. I feed off of that. And so, like, when I'll do my solo workouts, I mean, we tag each other in them. I know my daughter's seeing them, and I want her to see that there's nobody, like, when I do it on my own, there's nobody around. I'm holding myself accountable, and I want her to follow suit with that. And so when she does that, eventually I want her, if she decides to have her family, if that's the path that she decides to take, she does the same exact thing, setting the example, setting the standard, you know, for her family, and leading by example, and not just being, you know, basically a leech. And I don't think that that's going to happen. And I think with that, I think she's far surpassed my expectations for her by leaps and bounds, and she's not even an adult yet. But with that being said, I mean, it's now gets to the point where we manage that, because you will kind of walk that line of, you know, confidence and arrogance. And I don't think she'll cross over into arrogance, but as a parent, that's your responsibility to make sure that it's not even an option. So, like how he was saying, raising your kids to make sure that they become a contributing member of society.
Yeah.
You know, it's a never-ending job, but at some point they're going to take the reins. And I think the greatest, probably the best telling sign of a parent is seeing how well your child acts in public when they're not being watched. Good manners, you know, self-accountability, integrity, having all those things, and then applying it to their everyday life. And it, you know, that to me is like, that's a big legacy.
And I think we look at legacy as just our blood.
Sure.
You know, a lot of people look at it like that, just our kids. I think your legacy, it should be to your community, to everyone you come in contact with. That's your legacy.
Yeah.
You know, yes, my number one priority is my kids. You know, and like we started recording the videos on the media and stuff like that. And honestly, it's work. Look, we got Joe here to do it, and it takes work and time. You know, I don't like to record the workouts half the time. I'll do an extra round, so people don't see that. you do an extra round of workout
Right,
because if
yeah.
I record doing the workout, it slows me down.
Yeah.
I gotta set up the camera, I gotta hit play. I can catch my breath.
Yeah.
It doesn't help my workout at all. It actually hinders it. So I'll do an extra round on top of what I just did to record. So I'm keeping myself accountable. You know, and I keep doing it because guys at work, people we see, we've made connections. Jimmy, great performance.
Great, yeah.
And, you know, and
He did a
he's
workout
always,
here.
he's
Yeah.
always hitting us up and,
That's
you know, hey,
cool.
right on, man, thank you for hitting my workout or whatever. And then guys in the department that you don't think are doing them, you know, they come up every
Yeah.
once in a while, hey, Chance, hey, all right, I see the workouts, or they ask me to send them a workout.
Yeah.
You know, it just, you know, your legacy is not just your kids, it's to everybody. I'm the oldest of three,
Yeah.
you know, so I have two younger brothers who, my dad was, you know, in jail or the middle of our lives from when I was like 11 to like 19, you know. So my brother is 2 years younger, so my other brother was 9, and I'm 10 years older than my youngest. So my other brother was like 2
Wow.
when he went into prison. So, you know, my legacy extends down to them. I had to make sure that, you know, I'm doing good, so they're watching me 100% of the time, you know. And now today, you know, my other brother's 30, he's gonna be 24, and my other brother's 32, and both really, I'm super proud of that. You know, if anything, my youngest one is like my son. You know, I look at him that way, and you know, I treat him that way. You know, and I couldn't be more proud of that. That's legacy extends beyond your blood. It extends to your community, people you come in contact with. I hope that everybody, you know, who comes in contact with, like, you know, any one of our team, or, you know, you set a good legacy for your kids and with this community.
Yeah.
You know, so it's big shoes to fill, and I would just hope that, in that regards, that everybody looks at us as we're good people, and you know, we gave back to our community and put out, and just show people how they should, you know, aspire to be, at least some drive. You know.
I mean, it starts with simple things. How hard is it to say please, thank you, excuse me, hold the door open for somebody? And I think that's something that society's kind of gone away from.
Simple things.
It's simple things, and it starts with that. And
Being kind.
yeah, just be kind. Doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people think we're I mean, we
I
carry.
can be. I don't want to be. I can be. I don't want to be.
I guess it was with females to be that resting bitch
yeah.
face. Yeah, I got one for sure, but you know, you see, we're a bunch of comedians half the time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and have a good time.
But there is something to be said about. So what's interesting about you guys is you had to have found this somewhere, but what was modeled for you is not the path that you chose. So what you were around, your environment, your upbringing, is not the direction that you chose to go. But somewhere there must have been something that helped nudge you along the way then to get to the path that you're on now. Because now what you're setting for your families is everything we've been talking about this whole interview. But you're modeling it, right? So for someone who has that model, the opportunity then to go that direction is much more appealing. And although at times it may seem like big shoes, what I am careful of, zero pride in this, but I almost at times I'm like, I don't want my son to feel like he has to do all that dad did or whatever it might be. I want him to choose his own path. But there is something to be said of, this is our culture. This is the legacy, right? This is who we are as a family. This is who we are as a team. This is who we are. And that, it almost becomes second nature, if you will. It's like, oh, you just did that thing. Oh, I didn't even think about holding the door open. That's just what we do. It's what my dad did. You know, or that's what so-and-so did. What's interesting about you guys, and this came up in you too, is that you chose a different path than the one that was modeled for you. And there had to have been something along the way that somewhat catalyzed that. You know, I can remember talking about it a little bit, but could you pinpoint something in that journey that was like, hey, you know what? This is what I'm seeing here in front of me, but I'm gonna go this way here because I know this is. What stands out is, sorry, I'm talking a lot here.
No,
but what stands out about that is most of us don't have the ability to see beyond our circumstances, even now. But especially when I'm younger, when I'm 13 years old, when I'm 9 years old, and I'm going through something, I don't have the ability to have forward thinking towards where I might be in my 30s. But something along the way, like I said, had to have happened because you guys chose a different path. And even though whether you can pinpoint it or not, you had forward thinking
Mm-hmm.
of, you know what, this is going to have dramatic implications down the road of then my sons, my kids, my daughter, my brothers, whoever it might be. Could you find something that happened along the journey that helped maybe nudge you in that direction?
I think for me, it's more of just how we were raised. My dad getting arrested and not being there to be the provider for the family definitely put a financial strain on my mom. So anything that wasn't a necessity, we didn't have. I grew up without electricity. We lived in a house, no electricity at all. So we had to buy ice. We lived out of coolers, propane stove. We had friends, luckily, that gave us things to use. I had a propane stove on my electric stove, plywood, and that's just how we grew up. Like, we didn't have electric, and it's crazy because like I always think of those little things. Like, man, it's just to be able to plug in your phone or plug in something or turn on a light. It was little things like that, and I started thinking about like when I get older. That was something small. I was like, I'm gonna have electricity.
Wow.
That's just something small, and then I put in my mind, I was like, God, I don't have one house with electricity at least. You know what I mean? And it seems minute because nowadays, my wife will tell you like we built the house and we just turned the power on to my house.
Yeah.
We just turned on the electric, and I promise to God, I turned on the light switch and the light came on, and I literally dropped a couple tears. And like just the I held on to that gratification for so long. It was crazy. And she was like, "What are you crying about?" I go, "Nothing. Just blessed to turn on a light switch." It's a little thing that people take for granted, and I cannot even explain that. And I look at my house, like where we grew up to where we are now, and my two brothers, my baby brother just finished his house. Yeah. And my other brother did his house, and like from where we came from, sleeping in the living room on a mattress, the three of us, little things, electricity, it's crazy, man. We had those oil lamps, with the oil. Yeah, you put the glass on. That was it, man. It was like Amish. Yeah, but I lived in Hawaiian beaches, and that's just what it was, man. And like it's the smallest things that I just built on over the years. I couldn't electricity.
You were in Hawaiian beaches?
Yeah.
Where?
I'll tell you off the stuff, but I lived in the middle of Hawaiian beaches. The house I grew up in, guaranteed.
I was on Michael Equal Street.
Dude, I was on. You know that loop. You know that loop live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. The loop live.
Yeah.
I was between Kumu and Lai.
That's not that far from where.
No, right up the road
from
me. It's like 3 streets up.
Holy
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
As simple or as small as it may think, that is forward thinking, right? Of I'm gonna have a home with electricity one day.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why the emotion then comes with turning on the light switch. Whatever it might be.
Yeah. And that was like the signify that we've like finished our house, man. Like I turned on the electric, we were gonna get our final permits in, and I clicked on that switch, man, and like I just dropped a couple of tears, and my wife said, she grew up right there.
Crazy.
She had that house, but we grew up different lives. I mean, she had it hard with her dad and stuff like that, but they had electricity, so for me, it was just trying to, gauge that, and like, that was my main goal, man. Just growing up, I was like, I gotta have a house with electricity. It's something so simple, but it was like, if I hit that, I've made it. I got lights.
In a lot of other categories as well.
Yeah, I mean, I built off of that. It was just a simple thing, man. I held that so long, and I couldn't. I was just mind blown to be able to turn on my own light. Like, I was like, damn it, I got electricity.
So good.
Yeah, I don't know about
electricity all the time. Who, me? It's probably a series of things, steps along the way, but like I said, talked about in the interview, I got sent to Kona. So my brother and I, we were put into a foster home. There's a whole bunch of stuff that was going on prior to that. So we got relocated from Puna to family in Kona. And so we went from having electricity to moving to a house, and this is no way, shape, or form like trying to talk down, because we learned a lot living with my uncle Damien and my auntie Glendora down in Ho'okena. Moving to a house that had no electricity. Everything was generator. The water was basically running down a PVC pipe that came down from the top to the bottom of Ho'okena. We lived maybe about 100 yards from the beach.
Wow.
It's nice, but the house is like falling apart and whatnot. And so if somebody would run over the PVC pipe, we'd have to drive up. We'd have to go to Ace Hardware, buy the parts to repair it, and then we repair it, and then, or if not, we'd have no water. When the gas ran out on the generator, that's it. No electricity. Time for bed. But being in Kona, I ended up being connected with the Alani family. So, like, there was a lot that I learned from them and a lot that they experienced me too. But it was not easy because I'm coming into their turf. Some outside guy
Along
from
the family line.
They're tight,
Kona,
they're close. So I was very much the outsider. I've always wanted to be a police officer. My dad was a police officer. He died when I was 2 years old. He was Honolulu PD, so that's all I ever wanted to do. But getting there, being in that situation, you know, they took me hunting, they took me fishing down in Ho'okena. They got those fishing boats. They were a fishing village, and we'd go out every once in a while. They'd take me, and it was hard work. Like picking coffee, it was hard work. Nothing was ever, you know, just handed to you. When I went to Konawaina High School, I found myself up in the ag area, doing a lot of hard labor. My good friends, we used to hang out. We was a part of the FFA. They taught me a lot of things. We actually, just because of that interview, I got reconnected with a bunch of them I haven't seen in since I graduated. So that was really cool. But I do remember there was a certain point when it was my freshman year when I realized that there was a time, even though I had this kind of support, I still kind of felt very much alone. And I was like, I'm gonna have to do this by myself. I mean, yeah, these people will guide me up into adulthood, but after that, I'm on my own. And so I kind of just, at the age of 14, started to really develop this mindset of self-preservation and where do I go once I turn 18? And so the military wasn't even an option for me. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know not a damn thing. Graduated, came back to the east side, did some odd and end jobs. I worked for Sears, I worked for a couple other places. And then my brother was in the military. He was in the National Guard, and his platoon sergeant, Gary Tomandong, called one day, and he was calling from my brother, and he had asked to speak with him, and I said he's not home, and I was 20 at the time. And he said, hey, why don't you join? I said, I don't want somebody yelling in my face. I don't think that's something that I'd be into. But he was very real about it. He said, you know, you're gonna be there, basic training, Fort Benning, if you go infantry, but you're gonna see them for 4 months, and you're never gonna see the drill sergeants again. I was like, you know what, it's a challenge, why not? Took the ASVAB, they gave me my scores, they said, hey, yeah, these are the things you can apply for. And I said, what's infantry? I didn't even know what infantry was. It just says, oh, it's the guys on the front line. I was like, that sounds like fun, it might be fun. So I did that. And I ended up finding out, and prior to that, I've never shot a gun. I had no leadership abilities. I had, you know, I played team sports. I wasn't very good at it. So I mean, I'm not afraid to admit that. So I'm still kind of like learning myself. But when I got there, I realized that I had some tenacity and some grit, and they put me in squad leader positions. They taught me how to shoot, and it's the first time I ever picked up a firearm. And I'm like, I can do a lot more than I realized. Ended up becoming honor graduate for highest marksman in my platoon, and that whole being alone thing was still there because at graduation nobody came, but at that point I become okay with that because that's become my norm. But what I told myself is I can take all these experiences and help somebody who may be in a similar situation. I mean, I'm only 20 at that time, but I knew where I wanted to be, and I knew that it was going to be a long road. So any chance that I could to try and help somebody, even if it's just through talking, I started it from back being a 20 and being a nobody, and I still tried to carry that through, and through a lot of experience, a lot of events, and a lot of other things that had happened throughout my life, just added on to my toolbox. I mean, even though it could be traumatic, I used it to my advantage because I knew somebody else out there is going to be dealing with the same thing in some way, shape, or form. So I would take it, twist it, and be like, hey, yeah, I can totally empathize and sympathize where you're coming from. Been there. And this is what I went through. So we can have that connection and pull them out of that situation. So
good.
It's crazy because like the similarities that we find out about each other, because we got in the military too, about the same age as Wayne.
Well,
yeah. So I ended up going play football college. I went 1 year California, and then I'm coming home, and then just out of the blues, I decided to take the ASVAB, same thing, and then they gave me a list of jobs, basically what you qualify for. I'm not gonna lie, I got hoodwinked into taking on a job that had a signing bonus that I had no business doing. I should have went infantry, to be honest. I'm more of that personality. I ended up going Intel.
Okay.
Yeah, 35 Fox. So we did all like the battle plans and, presenting stuff to the commanders. We basically made up the plans. We gave them 5 plans or whatever. It's course of actions is what we call them. And this is, he could choose which one fit the best or manipulate them, whatever. Yeah. I ended up going same, National Guard, Army, get yelled at and whatever, but I was good at it. And I don't know, I think, you probably feel the same way. I feel like a lot of guys should go through it.
I think so.
Yeah, at least 2 years. You do like.
Don't be scared of it. I mean, don't. Let me put it this way. Don't be afraid of a challenge. If you fail, great. You learn something from it. You know what I mean?
But it make you appreciate this country a lot more.
Yeah.
110%.
Interesting.
Yeah. You might feel a little different when you go to all these bases and stuff like that. You see all the legacies of the people that come, soldiers that come before you, and who have made this place we live in, the country it is. So I always look at that too as like, it's probably one of the best decisions I ever made, was just to go to the military. I did 6. I don't know how long you did, Wayne.
I did 11.
11. So I went 6. He did 11. But it's like, yeah, I got out right before our unit got deployed. Yeah, but yeah, that was one good thing for just life experience. Same thing. Nobody undergrad. Nobody came to my graduation. Couldn't afford it. So there I was. I actually went with one of my battle buddies. His dad came in, signed him out, and then I was like, "Hey man, can I go with you guys?" All we did was went to Texas Roadhouse, got a steak.
You do a pinning ceremony.
Yeah.
After, like for us, for infantry, it's the blue cord, and you get somebody from your family to come and put it on you. I asked the drill sergeant, and so and he was stoked to do it. So I always remember that.
Wow.
Drill Sergeant Michelle, he's the one that did it. Now that's a long time ago, but I still remember the guy. So anyway,
maybe it's something more young men should consider.
I think so. I think that masculinity in society has taken a downward spiral, and we need to get that back. And that doesn't mean that we have to force them into being absolute monsters, but they should actually put themselves in uncomfortable situations to see what it is that they can do and know that they have support.
I think it's got a negative outlook. There's that whole masculinity thing. Some people will make it to where it's something frowned upon for you to be that way. But you gotta be that person, and especially when you have families and stuff like that, to lead them. You gotta have that masculine traits. You go out there and it doesn't mean like what you said. You don't have to be a monster, but you should be a type of force that
you should be formidable.
Yes.
I like using that word because like you talked about when you put us out there. I want, if someone's thinking about doing something stupid, I want them to think that there's 30 plus guys that are formidable, that are willing to look at you and like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah. I don't like to use the word. Well, I like to use the word. People don't like the word, but 30 guys on the outside.
Delete.
I'll say it, man. That live for it. You know what I mean? We're looking for it. So I mean,
That's funny.
I like. I'm with on that one. You look across the line and you got 30 goons that Really don't care, and all we did was
doing
train.
fine.
Yeah, and think about it 24/7 on what we would do if somebody tried some crazy shit. You know?
Just 30 guys that you know are down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I remember it was
not something you want to mess with.
it was the black sand. It was one of the black sand call-outs. The guy he had a gun. He was on the balcony. He had a gun. He was hiding behind the railing. And I remember walking. I'm in no rush. Like we got guys pointing guns at him. And I remember walking by him, staring at him, and he's like, I don't like the way he's looking at me. And I'm like, I don't care.